Morning. Suppose come up for a walk again this morning. I need a shave and a haircut. Alright. Thinking about the places I go walking and the fact that they are not easy places to get to. No, I've always been the same since I was a kid. I grew up through the 70s, through the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I'm 53 years old. I don't like this 53 years young thing. That's just people trying to kid themselves. I feel creaky. Of course I do. I'm just over half a century old. And I'm still wandering places I used to wander when I was a kid. Because it's something I've always done. I enjoy it, and if you don't do this, if you don't go wandering places that are hard to get to, you don't see half the really good places in the world. It's like I see people going to places like Benidorm and places like that, and Benidorm is, a lot of people think it's a joke, maybe Benidorm, but I went there early 90s, about 94 I think. I went to Benidorm. It was my first time abroad, and I got this like late cancellation. I paid absolutely really minimal for it. It's like £89, and it was a all-inclusive. Now I'd never been abroad. Now went to Benidorm, and then when spoke to people, they all said, oh, you have to go here, you have to go there, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I've been a musician for some time, so when I got to Benidorm, the lady I went with, she wanted to do all the normal touristy stuff. Nope, I didn't. As soon as I got there, I wanted to go to the old quarter. I wanted to go to the place where the locals were. I wanted to know about their culture, about what they did, and I did. I went into bars, I played guitar and sang with the locals. There's a tadpole in the water there, that's weird, in the river. I sang with the locals. I had a lovely time. It was wonderful. And obviously being all-inclusive holiday, I had all my food in the hotels, and I went back out, and to be fair, she enjoyed herself as well, because she would have just gone there and done the touristy stuff. And that's boring, really boring. So since then, everywhere I've been to the Canary Islands. People go there to party and take drugs and stuff like that, and I didn't. I went, I had a whale of a time. I like I said, I wanted to know the history of the place. I wanted to, when I was in on the Canary Islands, it slipped my mind which one I was actually on, but when I was there, it was the one we played in America, and the really touristy places and things like that. So when I went there, it was I said I absolutely fantastic. I went to places where scenes of the original Star Wars trilogy were filmed and things like that, and I was in my old and it's gone now. There's the volcano erupted and the valley's gone where the Ben Kenobi scene was filmed, so lucky to see that. But like I said, it was since then, wherever I go, I always try and look for the old places. It's like I went to Germany, and there's a Dario Argento film. I think it was in collaboration with Michael Sovi. It was a film called The Church, and we actually went past the church that was in that film, and I was bouncing. I wanted to get off the bus. I wanted to go in there. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the church because, I recognised it from the film. It was the church that was bombed, the front business, and they've left it as it is, as a reminder. But yeah, like I said, go off on a tangent and completely forget what you're talking about in the first place. That's right, rivers like this. Finding places like this because you know, I'm in my old places like this. It relaxes me. Because it's something my father used to do with me. He, you know, when we used to go fishing when I was a kid, my father would take me places, dangerous places. I'd climb up cliffs and stuff to get to them. But you know, he'd be like, "Come on, get up there, let's get it done." You know, it's fantastic, and that's why I love places like this. I mean, look at that, absolutely amazing. And that's why I like walking along places like this. The world is upside down and inside out at the moment. It's crazy. Look at that, absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, coming to places like this just to escape the chaos, because the world is the humans are running amok, and they are, and it's sad because the way it's affecting people, certain people. It's like a friend of mine. He wants to be here. He wants to be here. He loves it here. You know, he's like me, and he wants to be here, but he can't. He can't be here because of situations, because of people affecting his life in negative ways. And yes, I had to go through that, and I did. I went through some bad times, and I did. But you have to, God give us free will, and you have to be aware that it's us as well. We need to help ourselves, and we do. But when people do things to you that affect your life in a big way, then it can be devastating. It can, you know, absolutely devastating. But there we go. We'll keep praying. I pray every day. I pray for my family, my friends, and I pray for those who wish me harm as well. I pray for those, because it's not their fault. They're not, you know, they're not you. They don't understand what goes on in your head, but they think they do. They make up a version of you, and sometimes they make up a version of you which it doesn't exist in the least. It's just they're doing it to harm you. I had some comments of somebody from my past on one of my videos, and I normally wouldn't delete or block people just for making comments on my video, but this person caused a lot of problems in my past, a lot of problems, so I had to remove her. And I did, because I wasn't getting into it with her, and she was questioning my faith as well, because obviously it's trying to be clever, and somebody liked her comment obviously, so there was more than one there trying to question my faith. But there we go. And like I said, I don't normally block people, but this was a necessity on my part, and I don't want that person anywhere near my life or family. But there we go. Now we're at a bit of a hairy moment there, so just going to go for a minute. I was saying earlier about people making up a version of you, and then slandering your name, stirring, you know, feces stirring. I'm trying to stop swearing, so you know, it's but people slander your name. It's like, you know, example, when my father passed away in 2016, I went to his funeral, and unfortunately myself and my father had an argument a few years before, and he's a very he was very stubborn, and he refused to talk to me, and I defended certain people who I shouldn't have defended, and now I can see he's right. But again, you know, all right, yes, he was a very stubborn man. Anyway, well, I was at his funeral, and absolutely devastating time being at his funeral, obviously, because, you know, the man was my hero. And he so anyway, some person who was friends with my parents walked up to me, started shaking his fist in my face and saying my name in a very angry tone, and then shaking his fist in my face again. And I was just like, what are you talking about, you know? And the person who had obviously caused this had also been going around telling everybody that I was nothing but trouble. Great, you know, great. Yeah, there we are then. I was nothing but trouble. Can't see it myself. I just, you know, when I was a teenager, a normal teenager, I'm not as bad as most teenagers, to be honest with you. Well, there we go. Anyway, prime example. People making up a version of you because somebody else has been spreading lies and rumours about you and slandering you, and they don't, and the fact that, you know, obviously trying to make themselves be better by trying to take it out on you. Now, this happens a lot. Now, this is one of the worst things you can ever do in your life. Gossip, slander. The worst things. You know, pride being one of the top ones, obviously. Alright. I've noticed the flags came down early. Happy about that. Because, yeah, people are unhappy about it all. You know, people who fought for our country, people who fought in wars, get a day, and they want a month. They'd make it forever, eternity, and they'd be doing stuff in the streets in front of kids. That's what I bloody want to do. Whatever you do behind closed doors, you can, up to you. You can go to hell whichever way you want to. That's up to you. But it's a sin. Like a major sin. Huge sin. But whatever you want to do behind closed doors, keep it behind closed doors. Keep it away from children. Anyway, I digress now. So, as I say, yes, slander, people slandering. Happens a lot. There's people out there who thought, like, they thought I was dead because somebody was spreading rumours that I was dead. Like, you know, people from my past. Ooh. Anyway, as I was saying, the lies people are making up about other people, it's unprecedented, and, you know, it's, I've never seen it. It's an epidemic, obviously, because yes, the demons are walking the earth. They are. You know, are we in end times? Yes, I believe we're in end times. In the beginning of end times, yes, I believe we are. The tribulations are here. People say, no, you wait, the tribulations are here. It's happening. It's happening now. Well, this is the thing. Yes, we are in end times. But what, you know, and then you got people panicking, what's going to happen to us? I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. Nobody can tell you. Only God has that answer. Only, you know, Jesus died for our sins. He did. He gave his life for our sins. As I was saying, Jesus died for our sins. He took every sin, every future sin, into his body, and died with those for us. I don't understand why people would go down the other route. I don't get it. I don't get what do they think they're going to get out of it? Nothing. All these pop stars who lure children in with their music and then turn satanic. You know, the pop industry is more satanic than the heavy metal industry. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't understand what they think they're going to get out of it. What they think they're going to sit at Satan's right hand or something like that, Satan's left hand or whatever. What did they think that's going to... What? No. He's going to be shoving red hot pokers up their asses for the rest of eternity, you know. But what? I don't get it. I don't get why people would want to choose that side. What? The Grammys and things like, you know, you watch that and you're like, devil worshippers, they're all devil worshippers, all of them, they're all applauding. People want to mutilate themselves and things like that. It's insane. It is. I was reading the other day. I was actually watching a video by somebody. It was an AI video, and I was like, I don't know, you know, because to me, AI is the part of the Antichrist agenda, and it is. But this Christian video was made by AI and things like that. But it's just what they were saying in the video was obviously scripture, and it was about when the abomination of desolation happens. Run for the hills. Run for the hills. Don't try and stand and fight, it said. Okay, you know, but yes, okay, I get it. Don't, you know, we are mere mortals, we are humans, we shouldn't be trying to fight demons. But if, you know, the problem is here, obviously, if I see my children, every child I have is a gift from God. Everyone. Even my last one. If he was first, he would have been the last, I'll tell you what. Oh, he's testing. I got on to him. He is a testing. Anyway. But if I saw my children being harmed or something, sorry, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I'd take them to safety. Of course I would. You know, get a plan in your head. Because you know, there's a lot of people, they don't have a plan. I have an eBay shop, by the way. It's called the New Curio Shop. That's me. And you'll know me by my my little profile picture on there is a picture I made, which are actually on a t-shirts I designed. It says God, family, fishing, in that order. I sell things like antiques and stuff like that, and you know, and collectibles. But more than anything, I'm selling memories, things to remind people of their past, of their childhoods and things like that. It's that stuff I've collected over the years, and you know, a lot of it's stuff I keep that reminds me of my childhood. Then yeah, you know, I keep that obviously, but there's stuff that will remind other people of their childhoods, and I sell those then. I sell those on. Like I said, I'm not an extortionate shop. I'm very reasonable actually, so it's you know, and I've been told that. Yeah, I used to sell on eBay years ago, and I actually did really well on there, but it went strange for a while. It went weird. There was a lot of people stealing on there, and eBay was siding with the people stealing like stuff and all that. Like, but I've noticed lately it's actually got a lot better. So I've sort of reopened my shop after about a decade. I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's you know, I like seeing people. I like hearing, when you read the feedback, because like people are happy, and you know, like I said, getting things that remind them of their childhood, and that's what I'm trying to do. And hopefully my little thing, my little picture, God, family, fishing, they'll see that, and maybe a little light the spark then, and yeah. I used to be, I used to believe in evolution. I did, and it's just as you get older, you look into these things, you look into the scientific aspects of things, and it's all very interesting and things like that. But then as you get older and older and you get on and things like that, you start to think it's actually ridiculous, really, isn't it? I didn't evolve from a fish, because if you think about it, that's not evolution, is it? Because evolution would be for an organism to survive in any environment. So if I evolved from a fish, I should have gills, and I should be able to survive in water, but I can't. So that's not really evolution, is it? There are genetic mutations. Obviously, there's things like that where some things are born wrong. Hello, little wagtail. Some things are born wrong, and obviously that can continue in a bloodline. Yes, that can happen. Of course it can. But yeah, it just gets more and more ridiculous, and the thought of the creationism actually comes to the forefront. If you, it's like, well, I suppose atheists say, it's like, as long as I live morally, it's fine. But okay, right? So where do you go in the afterlife? Oh, there's no afterlife. Blah blah blah. And all that. Like, well, what's the point in life if there's no afterlife? What's the point in anything if there's no afterlife? You can basically just do whatever you want. But you don't, because you know right or wrong. You know what's right or wrong. Obviously there's individuals out there, quite a lot of them at the moment, who don't know right from wrong, because they are, demonically possessed, and they corrupted God's rainbow and things like that. It's covenant. But this is it. You know what's right or wrong. You know it. You know what's right or wrong. Of course you do. If you are an atheist and you know that committing a crime against somebody else is wrong, a real crime like harming them, and you know it's wrong, well, that should prove to you that there is good and evil. Otherwise, you wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't care. Something that's come out in the past couple of days is the fact that the local councils, or as they like to call themselves, authorities, they have no authority, none whatsoever. They are civil servants. They serve us. Our taxes pay for their wages. They are civil servants. That's what they are. Civil servants. They're supposed to help us make our lives better. They don't seem to want to, because they've lost their way, and they seem to be just making up their own things in their own heads now about stuff going on in the world. Or what's come out now is that the fact that if your child shows any leaning towards the right side of things, the right word used in both contexts, right and right. If your child shows any leanings towards that, or mentions people like Tommy Robinson and things like that, then they are to be expelled from school. That's what they're trying to push through. Grooming gangs all over Britain, and they want to expel your child from school because they like something somebody said on the internet. Somebody, because that person's right. But anyway, this is what I mean. This is how the world is going at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is. I was just sitting here now, and there was something walking down the bank, the river bank towards me. I don't know. I had a very large fox, or I thought a very large fox or a retriever, but there was nobody there. But it went up into the woods over there, so I don't know what that was about. Could have been a big cat. We do get them. I've personally seen a wild big cat. It was about the size of a little bit bigger than my spaniel, and it was crouched up in a ball next to a pipe over on Brynaman Mountain. Brynaman Tip, it's called, but it was there. It was massive. It wasn't it wasn't a domestic cat. I know what, you know, I've got cats. I know what cats are. No, this was something else. Well, luckily my border cross didn't see it, because she might have, you know, they might have started fighting. But like I said, yeah. Anyway, so the councils are thinking of you know, that now, getting kids expelled from school for having the wrong opinion again. But it's not or having a British opinion. That's what it's about, really, isn't it? They're so terrified of offending people, like criminals coming in on boats, that they want to punish British people for that, for their fear. Honestly, I think we need a shake-up now and get the councils taken over by people who actually got, you know, a spine. It's ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. I was watching some videos by I think Billy Moore. Is it All or Nothing with Billy Moore? I like watching his videos. It's great. It shows a good, you know, what Britain, the state of Britain, what is hidden at the moment. And you know, not in his videos, he's walking down these city streets and things like that, and it's like Spot the White Man. It's, you know, it's ridiculous. We truly are in the time of false prophets as well. There's some fella living up in Crewe or something, and he's got like a massive compound there, you know, proper Jim Jones type, and he reckons he's a reincarnation of everything, doesn't he? Everything, you know, you know, everybody's God. So, you know, well, you know, to be honest, it seems a bit tough to be bloody, you know, anything really, but people seem to be following him. But there we go, you know, people follow anything. That's what the film Life of Brian is about, really. You know, because a lot of people slate that as being anti-Christian. It's not anti-Christian. It's about, it's, you know, it's a funny film, and it's basically about the masses following whatever, you know, anything. Because, like I said, the film does feature Christ, but from a distance, innit, basically, you know. Do you know, when you're sitting here, you hear voices, it's crazy. You hear voices, people like in the background, and you're just like wondering, wouldn't be anybody here really, but you do hear them, you do hear voices. But anyway, as I was saying, the time of false prophets, we're in tribulations. You've got people, you know, doing jobs. It's like, you know, well, river bailiffs in general, river bailiffs and things like that. What kind of a knob have you got to be to have a job like that? You got a really sad existence. You have to want to do a job like that. But you take things out, that your misgivings out on other people, you know, the fact that, you know, trying to spoil other people's enjoyment in life by thinking you have some sort of authority which you don't. And threatening people and things like that is, you know, ridiculous. It is. Anyway, I'm rambling on here again. So I end this video on what I started with, really, about people having their lives affected by other people and ending up places they don't want to be. But what you got to think is God put you in these places for a reason. He did. You know, he kind of threw you a curveball then, you know. And he's testing you to see how you deal with it, how you deal with that slice of pie then. If you deal with it well, or if you follow the wrong route. And I hope the people who have had a curveball thrown at them deal with it well. I hope they take it well, because I didn't a few times in my life. I didn't deal with things well. People blame God for things. Why did God let this happen? And it wasn't God. You need to think of someone else, because that's who's doing it. That's who's causing it. Strife, tribulations. God's watching what you're doing, how you deal with these situations. And sometimes we have really, really bad things thrown away, and we do. You know, I've been homeless. But it's just, I've lost people who I love dearly. But these are trials of life, you know. And like I said, we have free will to do what we want to do with those situations. Choose the right path. Anyway, God bless you all, and I will see you next time.